Hey, Mortgage Coach community, Dave Savage here, and I have Cody Steinmann from the Northwest. Cody, you and I have met a number of times. This is the first time where I'm interviewing you for the Mortgage Coach community, and I'm really looking forward to it. So if you wouldn't mind telling everybody what market you're in, a little bit about your mortgage practice, and then we'll get into some big ideas.
Sure. So I'm in the Southwest Washington, Portland metro area market, Oregon and Washington. I've been originating since 2004, using Mortgage Coach since 2010. We have a small satellite office in downtown Vancouver where we have 6 loan officers and a pretty sweet support team. Yeah.
What kind of, I don't want to call it lead, how many opportunities do you get to help families every month? So we just get an idea of how often you're having borrower conversations and how many realtor conversations.
On the realtor conversations, we're having anywhere from 15 to 30 a month. And on the borrower conversations, I would say our goal is the same, 15 to 30 is pretty accurate.
And how many of those borrower opportunities are turning into closed loans on a monthly basis?
So year to date, I'm averaging 7 loans a month. My annual volume usually sits somewhere between that 15 and 20 million a year mark.
Awesome. So you're doing great, and you've done hundreds of total cost analysis reports. So you're a guy who has created enough total cost analysis reports that it saves you time. It makes your job easier. Is that fair to say?
It's very fair to say, and like I said, I've been using it since 2010, and I'm probably over 1,000 total cost analysis. What got me using Mortgage Coach right away is in 2010, I started working out of my house, right? And so the only office I really had was a Starbucks. And so Mortgage Coach kind of became my office. And I used that to replace a lot of my face-to-face. And then now that I'm back in the office, I was back in the office within 2 years, I make it a part of every borrower conversation we have.
Love that. And can you think of any circumstances or situations where you were helping a family, they were thinking they wanted something, and after you gave them the total cost analysis, they had like this aha, like, oh, I hadn't thought of it that way. Any stories come to mind, or how often does that happen in your mortgage practice?
I would say almost every time, right? Because especially when you're dealing with borrowers with mortgage insurance or first-time home buyers, there's so many more options out there than just FHA. So when I create a Mortgage Coach analysis, I kind of have a rule where I never put one option, right? I always have at least 2. And when I do that, there's usually that aha moment where, oh, I didn't realize that was an option. And so right there, I've separated myself from anybody else they've talked to.
So the aha happens often. And then in terms of the time it takes you, because one of the misnomers a lot of, let's just say people that aren't in the Mortgage Coach community, they think like, oh, it takes a long time, or it makes my job harder. But a guy like you who's done this hundreds of times, it saves time. If you could just speak to how it saves time and why it saves time.
Well, without being a total commercial, I couldn't afford to not have a Mortgage Coach. I don't know what I would do during the origination process if I didn't have that tool, right? More important than almost any other aspect. The company I work for, the LOS software, all the other social media stuff I do, I don't think I could originate without Mortgage Coach because I'm so embedded. But with that said, my average total cost analysis takes maybe a minute and a half. I do use the templates. There are a lot of really cool features that I see my coworker Ryan McCracken using, going deep with reinvestment strategies and all that, which I do occasionally, but I keep it really simple. And I do use some of those features, but you don't have to dig into those features to provide a really, really cool estimate in a very short amount of time. We played some games around the office where we time how quick we can do one, and I have gotten under a minute, including a video.
Wow.
Before, but usually a minute to 2 minutes to create it, and then a video for however long you want. The videos are really easy. I create the total cost analysis on my computer, and then I just think the iPhone camera works better and the app works better than my computer camera. So I just take it out and hold it, and sometimes it's shaky or whatever, and I do my video, My videos my rule for my videos are no longer than 30 seconds. I don't dive into every line. I set up that we'll be contacting to go over this again, and I do them all in one take.
Love that. And I noticed when you held your camera, you're holding it like this.
Yeah.
So just a reminder, everybody, this junior varsity, varsity. This is the way you want to hold your camera. It gets a better picture. Well, hey, I interviewed Jeremy Forcier yesterday. We did a Skype interview like the one you and I are doing, and Jeremy's done thousands of mortgage coach reports. I think he did 140 million in production last year. And I was asking him, what are the questions you have with realtors? And I was asking him, and how do you integrate mortgage coach into your real estate, your conversation with agents? By the way, I'm going to put a link to that video below. So if you're watching this you're watching this in YouTube, down below you will see a comments area, and I'm going to put a link to the video with Jeremy. But if you could just speak to how you integrate mortgage coach into your real estate agent conversations, and maybe speak to how it helps you get more referrals from those agents and how it helps you be more effective with the referrals they give you.
Well, I have everyone plugged in as partners, and we do the open house stuff. But I think
Good job.
a big value is recruiting new agents, right? So when I'm sitting down for coffee with the agent, I go through how I originate. And that's a pretty short conversation, but the showcase of that conversation is the mortgage coach. So they can see what the clients are going to see when they refer them over to me. And then I talk to the agents about the picture I paint with my borrowers, right? So let's say I'm sending out a total cost analysis on a Friday afternoon, and I know they're going out shopping over the weekend. The picture I paint is you're out looking at houses, you finally find one that you're interested in making an offer in, and you're standing in the kitchen with the real estate agent, right? I want you to text, email, or call me with that address, or have your real estate agent, Troy, text me the address, and I'll update your total cost analysis so you can see exactly what the payments and your cash to close would be on that specific property. So it's Sunday afternoon, you're standing in the house, put me on speaker. We have all the information you need right at your fingertips. That way you can make an educated decision while you're in the property, as opposed to waiting a Monday to get a hold of your lender to send you over a paper estimate, right? And borrowers think that's really cool, because right now the compelling thing we can offer our borrowers is getting their offers accepted. So if you and I are both looking at houses and we see a house we like, and you have to wait till Tuesday to find out what the property tax is and your total payment would be and your total cash to close would be, but I can get that information on a Sunday afternoon, I can get my offer turned in a day or two before you, right? Also looks good to the listing agent that I can send over a pre-approval letter on a Sunday with all the information I need, and it literally takes me as long as the phone call is. So if I'm on my cell phone at the park with my daughter and I get the text message, I just open up my Mortgage Coach app, type in the address, put in the property taxes, then have a quick conversation. So agents love that, right? Because the last thing they want to do is go show a house and then have to wait for them to go home and talk with their lender. So the agents that I do this with, their conversion on making an offer while they're at the property is extremely high.
Yeah, I'm just pulling it up because I want to make sure everybody connects the dot on what you said, because this is the modern mortgage professional. I've got a headset on. I could have that plugged into my mobile phone, and I could literally be talking to an agent or a family, and while I'm talking to them, I could log in to that client, and literally, I could be editing the total cost analysis. So literally, right here while I'm talking to them, I could be having this guided experience, walking them through their options, and literally while I'm on that conversation, the graphs and charts are updating on their phone. So this is a modern mortgage professional, knowing how to use video, knowing how to use mobile. Cody, this is the playbook of the mortgage coach loan officer. So I'm really digging this. I think you had something else you wanted to add. I had a feeling there.
Well, and when you're sitting down with your borrowers doing that first origination, or you're on the phone with them, have them open it on their app. And then if you're doing the live reporting, if you click on the purchase price, for example, it'll highlight yellow on your phone and their phone. So show them what that is going to be like when they're at the house, right? And so I don't know how originators have conversations about estimates over the phone, because there's so many numbers and it's so confusing and there's so many opportunities for things to get lost in a translation, right? So when I do have that borrower at the house and I go over, here's what your property taxes are on that home, and the agent says, what do you think about having the seller pay closing costs? Then I can put one next to it and highlight, so I know that they see the numbers I'm seeing. So there's no room for, when that loan disclosure goes out, there's no chances of those numbers being different from what they saw or what they thought they saw on the total cost analysis.
Well, I love it, my friend. And a couple thoughts, couple homework assignments. Make sure you watch the Jeremy Forcier, how he integrates Mortgage Coach into his real estate conversations, and what are the 5 questions Jeremy asked every single agent that he's trying to recruit. Also, I'm going to put a link to our calendar, because every single Wednesday at 11 o'clock, we do mobile training. So everything that Cody's doing, whether it's editing the report, sharing the report, adding a video with his mobile, doing Mortgage Coach Live, we teach that every single Wednesday at 11 live in a workshop experiential format. And there's also a recording of that, but make sure you go through our mobile training. Make sure you like this. Like, if you think this conversation was valuable, like it in YouTube. If you have a question that you'd like me to ask, if you have, whatever you think about this interview, put it in comments below. Let Cody and I know you got some value for this. And but most importantly, share this with other folks. So, Cody, I am looking forward to being on your podcast coming up, buddy.
We're excited to have you. We have a list of people we wanted to invite, and you're at the top of that list. So we're totally excited to have you on.
Well, I'm super honored.
We have a T-shirt ready for you.
Oh,
fresh in the mail.
I'll have it on next time. And I've seen more and more loan officers doing podcasts. Obviously, we believe in video, and we think Mortgage Coach video is it's the easiest video for a loan officer to do for the first time, because it's the same thing you say in a voicemail. It's the same conversation you're already having. Just put it on a video so that all the family members involved in the decision and the realtor in the loop. But there's a lot of other ways of using video. So my last plug for Mortgage Coach training is every Friday now at 9 o'clock Pacific, we do Insane Productivity with Mortgage Coach Mastermind. And it's just all about time compression, how to be more efficient, how to be more effective, how to be more productive. And so every Friday at 9, I'm doing a mastermind call. And those are also recorded, and they're on our YouTube channel. And I did one on video this last Friday that I thought was pretty awesome. So, Cody, anything else you want to share with the Mortgage Coach community before we wrap up today's call?
No, I'm a big believer, obviously, in Mortgage Coach. Our whole office is. Every loan officer here is on it, and it's like I said, the most valuable tool we have. So thank you very much, Dave.
Yeah. No. Well, the last thing I'll say to that is because I know your branch, I know the lender you work for, and the big challenge is every loan officer is not using it, and usually it's because they just haven't done 10 total cost analysis yet. They're in that. Let's face it, for you can't imagine doing the business without a total cost analysis. It's easier, it's faster, it makes your job easier. But if you have never done a total cost analysis, the first one's hard. And if you've only done 2 or 3, it's not really saving you time. And so anybody who's watching this, you got to get past 10, and not 10 over 10 months. You got to get past 10 total cost analysis within a week or 2. And then it just gets easier, and it just starts saving you time. So if you're watching this and you should be delivering total cost analysis to both borrowers and realtors, you got to get past 10, past 20, and then you won't be able to stop. Did you want to say something else, Cody?
Yeah, just one thing that I don't know if a lot of other Mortgage Coach users utilize Mortgage Coach for, but it's my calculator. So if I have another loan officer walk in my office and they give me a scenario, hey, what do you think about this scenario? I say, I don't know, let's put it in Mortgage Coach, right? So I use it even if it's something I'm not going to send to the borrower. If I need to hammer out numbers or compare an FHA to a WA bond, I put it in there to figure out which one's the best. So I use it for myself, so I'm giving the right advice. So it's not just for your borrowers.
Yeah. Well, again, you've done it over 700 times, so it's second nature to you. But everybody on this call, all you got to do is do 10, and we have training available to help you do it. So hey, Cody, thanks a lot, man. I really appreciate the value in the call.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Dave.